meditating.
Yeah.
You're dealing with something right now.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm learning, when things come up like that, it's like, you are not that feeling.
Yeah.
You recognize the feeling, hold space for the feeling, let the feeling run its course and let it go.
Let it go.
Face it, literally corny as this. When I was riding in the truck, I'm trying to figure out why I feel the way I feel. I'm like, you know what? This is just a feeling.
Right.
I said, hey, feeling.
Oh, what?
I said, hey, feeling.
You embrace the feeling.
How you doing, feeling?
You embrace
How
the
you doing, feeling?
Right.
It's good to see you here, feeling. You won't be here for long.
Right.
And when I got out the truck, finished the ride, pulled up here, I got out the truck, closed the door, and I just started laughing like, yo, you sound crazy.
Right.
But it brought me back to center.
Mm-hmm.
It brought me back to center. So just the idea of being open and willing to accept what you ask for. We want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you get what you got, what you ask for, are you ready to receive and perform with what you ask for?
Right.
It's cool. It's focused. You've been focused for a long time.
A lot of the times we attempt to avoid, right? We look to avoid what's meant for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a person asked me, maybe once I took the coaching job, someone that said, my barber actually said, what made you stop playing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm like, what do you mean what made me stop playing? He was like, no, bro, you could have. I remember when you got the contract over Sweden. I remember when you went to the ABA and you just out of nowhere you just stopped playing and you started making clothes. Like, what made you stop playing? Now, I have a few reasons why I stopped playing, you know, and it was like I walked away from the game, but I almost did it again. Literally, I was about to do it again. I wanted to stop training. I was tired of it. I felt like just what other trainers out here are doing, it's just like it takes the joy away from what I love. So I'm like, I got to do something different. I was literally September 10th. I was moving to Houston, and I met Doug Overton, our head coach. We met, we talked, and he was like, listen, nah, you don't need to go anywhere. Here's the opportunity for you. And I said no. I still was willing to walk away from the game of basketball again. 10 years later, think about the timing on that. 10 years later, I'm still willing to walk away from basketball. And I felt like the universe said, no.
The universe, that's the shift that comes in these shifts.
Yeah, it said, no, not again. Do this and you'll see how much further you can place yourself or your energy can benefit somebody else's. Right? Like, who knows? I mean, if it didn't happen, so I'm quite sure it wasn't meant to be, but, you know, just thinking about it, like, who knows who I could have affected in a positive way by continuing to play. Right? But at the same time, I also say making that conscious decision the first time when I walked away from the game, I had to go through a phase of learning, right? That whole entrepreneurship kick and just going into a whole nother industry was a big, huge impact for my life of seeing what I'm really capable of. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And now I feel like I'm rounding third base right now because I'm not even at home yet. I'm just starting to round third base. You get what I'm saying? I'm coaching in college now, and I'm able to impact these young men's lives and give them some tools and knowledge of things on how to face the world, most importantly, but then too, how to prolong your career after you successfully could complete your academic course. But again, to go back to the main topic is we as humans, we make life so hard because we do not want to address the actual elephant in the room. Right? If something hurts you, address it. Don't sugarcoat. You don't want to. I go through this with personal relationships with people where it's like, yo, X, Y, and Z. This is the energy between us right now. This is why that energy is there. How do we get through that? Oh well, no, I ain't. They don't want to talk about it.
It's tough because it puts this
You don't want to talk about it. Yeah. You don't want to talk about it.
What is that?
Is that feeling? What is that feeling?
What is that? That's we call that anxiety. We call that's the feeling of pressure. Fear is probably fight or flight, right?
The feeling that I would call it, it's something wrong with your digestive system, is what I say.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You can't digest.
Okay.
You can't digest this information that I'm giving you, right? Because you're not mentally strong enough, and then two, the way your immune system is and your intestines is all that, you can't receive it because your energy is vibrating too low to be able to vibrate where I'm looking to go right now. right? So that's where you start to see the separation in people. Oh, you know, every 5 years somebody's changing, you know, inside mentally and all that type of stuff. And then you everybody, you know, that phase, everybody can't go.
Level up.
Right? Everybody's not in that position, as you said, mature enough or even physically or mentally capable to get to that next phase of their life because they don't want to address the elephant in that room. They don't want to digest the information that they need to get to point B.
Us included, usually is the elephant in the room is yourself.
Facts.
Usually the biggest thing you need to address is something that the role, and again, we are not other people's energy. Right. So recognize that. How can I deal with my energy to make my space cleaner for me? Right? And it's tough to look in the mirror.
Oh my God.
What's that? Ego and all that?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Being able to look in the mirror and accept who you really are.
Never understood that.
What?
Not like we were too young to understand what somebody said. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I was younger, literally looking in the mirror like, oh my God.
What? Yeah, what am I looking at?
What am I looking at?
But you know why? You know why when you're that young and you look in the mirror, you don't know what you see or what you're looking at?
Right.
It's because in that phase of adolescence, like we spoke on it earlier, in that phase from adolescence, 12 to 18, and then from 18 to 25, you still do not know who you are and what you're capable of. So how can you fully look in the mirror and say, this is who I am, this is X, Y, and Z, unless you've been planted seeds at an early age. So my grandfather was probably one of the most influential people in my life because he was speaking to me about stuff at 8 or 9 years old that I wasn't grasping. I didn't get it.
But the seed was planted.
The seed was planted. So when I'm 13, 14 years old, mentally I matured so much faster with a focus than the typical kid around me because my seed was already planted. And then when I came up against those type of obstacles or things that I was going through, it started watering that seed as we spoke on earlier. It started watering it. So now it's like, yo, man, you ain't focused. What are you doing X, Y, and Z for? You're not thinking 5 steps down the line.
Right. That's mentorship.
Yeah.
Some people are gifted enough to have those types of people in their lives.
Right.
Think about this. We didn't know who we kind of still, we have a better idea. We kind of still don't know who we're looking in the mirror because we can have a 55-year-old person trying to give us game that we don't even understand yet. That's beautiful. And maybe it's more beautiful now because we've been through the stages of, you've learned so much about yourself. So now when I do look in the mirror, I'm like, you've really been doing this for a decade. Right. You've really been doing this for a while now. The conversation has changed a little bit. Before, you don't have enough experience to even be able to have a conversation with yourself. Address the elephant in the room. I like that. Digest it.
My grandfather always said it's 4 quarters of life, right? And I think we spoke on that before. I think just in our personal conversations, right? Within your first 25 years of life, the first quarter, how you let's use athletically, that first quarter is all the warm up. It's getting a feel for the flow of the game. You know, how much condition are you in? Can you understand what's being done right now, right? So in our first 25 years of life, you know, we went through elementary school, middle school, high school. We played in college. Now it's like, who am I now at 25? How does this give me the momentum to go into the second quarter of my life? So now you're still like that faith. We still don't know who we are. We really don't because we just scratched off the first quarter. We just started. The game just started. The game just started. And now that maybe if it's a good game, it's intense the whole way through. It's back and forth. It's rowdy the whole way through.
We made a couple mistakes and now we got to play catch up already. And it's wild growing up. And I think you see that because you see people you grew up with. Listen, so I'm talking to these kids. We in these school. We're making these kids follow. Like we are a direct connection to any kid that we come in contact with. So I'm talking to the kids, and it's like you're gonna see it at this level. Watch and see who start. Remember, if you're a freshman, look around. Not everybody will be here. If you're a senior, remember when you was a freshman? Everybody's not here, right? So it happens again in life. You leave school, then it happens again in college.
Hey, can I ask you, did you learn that from that seminar we had when we was at Rome? When the dude came and gave that talk about all the student athletes had to come take that seminar? I was the first time I ever heard that.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't believe I made anything up. But somebody said everything that I've ever said before. But that's a feeling how I feel. Yeah. That's my experience about it. I can just tell you what I seen. Yeah. I seen a lot of you fall off. Yeah. You fall off, and we're still. It's going to happen again and again and again.
I was driving today, and I seen somebody we grew up with, right? And to this person has become versus who they were, it's like, yo, what, how? Like, just mind, how, right? So I was talking to a relative as I was driving. I called, like, yo, I just seen X, Y, and Z. Like, how now as adults can we save kids' lives from having all the potential in the world, right? And understand if you make those certain decisions, you can have an outcome of being something that you wouldn't look in the mirror and be proud of.
Right.
And the biggest thing he said was the willpower not to attempt and not to go down certain paths.
Right.
Because you know when you're young, you're fearless. Right? You feel whatever. I'm gonna bounce back. I'm gonna be able to play forever. I'm going to be able to do this but really, right. Right. So how now as adults and going through the things that we've been through, how do we save a lot of these kids' lives? Like, should we start planting seeds earlier? Yeah. Should we start really starting the process from 2nd and 3rd grade, preparing them right before they get to middle school? Because like I said, that the biggest
by the time
middle
6th, 7th grade is gonna be that's an old dog.
Yeah.
You start dog.
Yeah.
I do these seminars, so we went to Shady Lane, had the assembly at these elementary schools, and they break them up. First half will be like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, and then 5th and 6th, totally different animals.
Right.
The kids in the beginning, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, full attention, at ease, like stand up straight, clap, bang, one clap. And them 5th and 6th graders, they in there, they ain't too cool for school.
Yeah. They start feeling themselves, man.
That fast, there's a switch.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you said, maybe we take the threshold back. We got to go all the way back. It starts all the way.
You have to.
Elementary level.
You have to.
Yeah.
And it goes to the same phases of when I spoke on this, the training, right? Like, there are certain things that should take place that can help you become that player that you're destined to be. And a lot of times you may reach your potential because the mentors you may have had in your life, not being able to receive certain information. So for me, it's like, if I see a kid and they come through my program or they just come into my life period and I'm not able to plant a seed into them where they can look back and like, okay, this is what he meant, right? It's not about getting it right now. Like, I'm not worrying about right now. I'm worrying about the 5-10 years from now. What is going to be your decisions? I mean, what are you going to be thinking like? Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Al Oreo, my head coach, now head coach again at Denver High School. We won a state championship. And I'll never forget his first words was like, got us, everybody's cheering, everything huddle up at the end of the game. And he's like, congratulations, straight up gave it to us, good job. But this championship, he's holding the trophy. This trophy will mean more to me in 10 years, in 20 years, when I see what type of men you guys turn out to be.
Right.
And he planted seeds since we were young men, 9th, 10th, 11th grade. He understood what I've been telling you all this time.
Right.
Yeah, we got a championship out of it. That's cool. But to me, if my job, if I'm successful, is what type of husband, what type of father you become.
Right.
So much bigger than this sport, and that's a little bit of the message we try to get to these kids too. Like, this isn't forever, fellas.
No, it's not. It's not.
This isn't forever.
It's not.
Use this. It's whatever. If it works, cliche. Use football. Don't let football use you. Use basketball. Don't let basketball use you. Use your sport. Use your abilities to best you in your situation.
Right.
The people around it, like it. So we was kids. Why do we have resentment? Why do we go so negative towards someone? Because Al Oreo, probably has a lot of people that don't want to be his friend because of his way or no way, and that's that mentality. It's not. He's not trying to instill anything bad in, or any coach. It's not. We're not there to steer this kid in the wrong direction.
Right.
Why do we resent that? Why do we go against that? Because you see a lot of kids like, oh, coach just trying to. No, coach really is looking out for you. It may not fit yours. You may not like how it's making you feel right now.
So I can only speak from my experience with coaches. I had a lot of emotional issues, right? Just based off of what I come from, what I witnessed growing up. So when someone's giving you that sort of structure and it's in a certain type of way, it's like how you say things is very important.
How you say it.
Right? And how you and I had to learn that. I took a course at Rutgers, and it was on it was like youth development or something along those lines. And in that course, I learned so much. It's like, holy shit. The way I've been going about it is a negative, right? And you think it's like, okay, nah, these kids are just soft, or it's these kids just don't learn. No, it's not. It's really how you like as a man. I'm not going to talk to you a certain type of way because it's going to get a certain type of reaction.
Energy.
Right? So that energy does not change regardless of a person's age.
Right.
It doesn't. It doesn't change regardless of how old a person is. They're still a human being who has a bunch of energy filled within inside of them. Mm-hmm. Depending on how their energy is shaped, right, and depending on how that energy is stored, when you receive or you give the energy that you have inside of you, mm-hmm, you're gonna either set off a bomb, right, or you're gonna speak some life into that energy. Yeah. Right? And that's why it's like kids aren't really sensitive. It's just like depending on their background, where they come from, and what they experienced and seen growing up, you have to really handle every kid differently.
Every kid.
You know.
We said earlier, everybody's going through something that you have no idea about.
Right. And I had to double back as I got older. There's some coaches that I wouldn't really necessarily care too much to speak to, mm-hmm, right? But then the ones that I felt had my best interest, I had to go back and apologize, right? And the reason I apologize because I shared with them who I was at that point in age and that stage of how I felt as a young man or as a young adult. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, realistically, you really meant no harm on what you were feeding me. It was just me. Mm-hmm. Right? When you look in the mirror, as you said, when we look in the mirror, the biggest elephant or that biggest problem to digest and swallow is really yourself. But I didn't have that type of wisdom and knowledge, to filter all of that. But realistically, that's that. Even past relationships, as far as that's a whole nother level. Like when you're in these relationships, in your intimate relationships, I should say, people may have an issue with you, but you may not see that issue because you're not willing to want to receive it. Mm-hmm. Right? So I had to go back to exes. And I had to apologize, like, yo, like, you know what? I was on some bullshit.
Yeah, and that's
you know what I mean?
That's confronting the elephant in the room.
Right, that's confronting the elephant in the room. And once you do that, it seems like life just becomes so much peaceful.
It's cool, and we talk about the meditation.
Yeah, it becomes so much peaceful. Yeah.
You gotta bring some stuff up.
Yeah, you gotta bring it up, man.
Mental health, mental illness, dealing with it. I'm learning any practices. Where do you get what's your release outside of like your everyday? Do we have any? We still fit?
So I read.
Okay.
I read a lot, and I like to run. Mm-hmm. Right? You know, I've never been a dude who loves to lift weights. It's not my thing, dude. I'll find any excuse in the world not to have to lift weights. So for me, what I do is, I don't know if you've been seeing, I'll tag it on my on my social media pages or my story. Miles checked, right? It's just a little hashtag that I've been saying, miles checked. And with that, pretty much for me, it's just like you have goals, you have some things you're looking to accomplish, mm-hmm, whatever it is. Each step of the way, check it off. Right? So every mile that I run, I'm going to check those miles because on that journey, on that run, I'm running 3.5 miles. There's so much stuff going through my mind, mm-hmm, and a lot of it really is just conditioning me mentally to overcome anything. You know, when you're running or you're lifting or you're trying to achieve something, you need that right? You gotta get it out. So when I'm doing miles check, it's just like, all right, I'm able to overcome this next phase, this next stage. And then with reading, you know, I like to read 100 pages a week from all different books. I can't read the same book.
That's tough. I think I got 3 books open right now.
Right. I read from all different books. One of my favorite books that I've just recently finished, or not even finished, I'm close to finish, is called Emotional Intelligence.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And the biggest key that I took from this book was the perception that you have of a person, right, is truly how you see yourself.
Yeah.
To me, it blew my mind when I read that.
Right.
I'm like, what? If I don't like a person and I think this person's corny or I think this person just has this negative energy, they're speaking to an energy that I possess myself.
Yes.
That I haven't gotten rid of myself, because if I didn't have that same energy, it wouldn't connect. Mm-hmm. I'll be able to look past that and see the more positive energy of who that person is.
So is it? It's such a mature thought.
Right, listen, dude.
It's crazy.
Call me weird, call me crazy, like,
so crazy. If that's crazy, maybe we wouldn't use the language, right?
Right.
Nothing's real.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's no like we are here, and that's it.
Right.
Whatever just happened no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever hasn't happened yet, it hasn't happened yet. So
What are you stressing about?
what are you stressing
What are you
about?
stressing about?
I'm laying on the floor for 7 minutes a day, breathing, and it brings you back to like, I'm just laying here.
Mm-hmm.
This is all I am. Take away, like, lose sensation with your body.
Mm-hmm.
And you only this buzz. Ready? That's all there is. That's silence.
Mm-hmm.
How close can you get to that silence? Bro, I'm suggesting that. I'm telling you, just type in YouTube, whatever, put some headphones in.
Right.
Practice some meditation, man. It's really, really cool in developing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I haven't even developed. One day I'll be here to really talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'm learning something, and I'm kicking whatever game, whatever. Try that. Find your lane in that. That's
Right.
cool meditation.
I got, you know, it's crazy. I have some meditation books.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like my time management right now is so messed up to where I don't create the time to actually meditate and go through the process.
Right.
But now that you said that, that's speaking
I
to
think we
me.
hear meditation, and then myself, I thought of this big grand concept that it's some epiphany, like it's some wow. No, it really is, bro. You can meditate dry mouth. It's 3 breaths.
Oh, bro. If that's the case, then my meditation is when I'm in the shower. I love water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a long shower. That's why I love cruises. My vacation.
You're reading, that's a meditation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
It's a
quiet
form.
time,
It's a
yeah.
form of meditation. Honestly.
But literally, you become the fluid.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
That's different.
It's different.
It's different.
It's different.
It's another way to look at life. Right. It's another way to look at life. Yeah, man.
Tone tell us to wrap it up.
Sure. So we gotta wrap it up now.
He got a phone call. You want to tell
Yes,
us?
that's what it is.
I don't think this is the last time we're gonna sit down and talk.
No.
Nah. My man AP, I'm proud of you.
Hey, I'm proud of you, dude. I appreciate you having me, man.
I'm proud of you.
I appreciate you having me, man.
I'm watching. I'm learning.
Vice versa, man.
I'm learning.
Vice versa.
Don't stop.
Absolutely not.
This is the Lead Show.
Operation X.
We're here.
My man.
We'll be back.
All right.